So, self-leadership. We're going to go ahead and jump into day 23, self-leadership. Leading yourself out of emotional habits. Let's talk about that. Leading yourself out of emotional habits. It's becoming aware of patterns you slip into automatically. It's the automatic pattern that you slip into and choosing differently on purpose. So those emotional habits that happen. So say for instance, let's look at an example. You were disrespected today, right? Before you were healed, right? The old you did. No one would disrespect you. It's just point blank, period. They're not disrespecting you because you go. Matter of fact, your whole face said, "Please don't try me unless you want some smoke." That's what it says. But when you heal, you learn to relax yourself. That's what we've been talking about: relaxing the body, relaxing the muscles in the face, getting away from the rested beef face, as they call it, right? So now you're disrespected. Immediately before, you would immediately react. But now that you're healed and healing, what you're going to do is respond. You're not going to slip into something automatic. You're changing the way that you're changing your emotional habits, right? You're putting the right emotion to the right feeling. You were disrespected, right? So how did that make you feel? Did it make you angry or did it hurt your feelings? Be honest. You can only be honest with yourself. Did it hurt your feelings or did it make you angry? So you can give the right response to it. Because if it hurts your feelings, just because your feelings hurt does not mean that you have to cry. Hey, good afternoon, Nisha Nicole. Doesn't mean that you have to go cry tears and break down. That's not what it means. What it means is you're recognizing that your feelings is hurt. And what part of your feelings? Did it embarrass you? Did it make you feel shameful? What did it make you feel? Because if you just go straight to angry, now you're going to respond from the secondary. The primary is your feelings was hurt, but you stepped into your secondary, which is angry. And now you're reacting the wrong way. When you calm down, did you really have to do all that, right? That's how that comes about. So what you want to learn is leading yourself out of the emotional habits, meaning becoming aware of the patterns you slip into automatically and choosing differently on purpose. So another example is the reaction and response. You bump into me, automatically I push you back, right? That's the automatic reaction, is to push back. But if I change the way I do things purposely, meaning you bump into me, now I'm going to respond with not my mouth popping off. That's reacting. Responding is you're aware, you're thinking, you think. It's a conscious decision of you identify you just been bumped. You aware, become aware of your surroundings. What happened? Did that person fall into you? Did they do it on purpose? Did they do this? And if they did do it on purpose, let's use that as an example. They did it on purpose. So now what are we going to do? Okay, you did that on purpose. I'm not fighting you. You're looking for a fight. Do I know you? Do I not know you? Do you understand? You have to understand things like that. I know a lot of y'all like, I'm not doing all that thinking. I'm popping off. And that's why you're not healed. I'm telling you, as you heal, you can immediately understand and see what's going on immediately. It becomes automatic, just like automatically you would push back. Now you're doing healthy responses. So now you're going to wait and you're going to say, okay, wait a minute. Is that worth it? And you check yourself, right? And so we're learning how to choose different emotional habits. We're learning how to choose the right ones. That's what we're doing. So emotional habits are learning responses, not personality traits. Meaning it's learned behavior. That's not who you are. It's learned behavior. So emotional habits are learned responses, not personality traits. Okay, they form when the nervous system repeats what once felt safe or familiar. Just like I just said. Because I reacted that way because it kept me safe. It made me feel safe. Meaning that if I go ahead and do all this yelling and fussing, you're not even going to want, you're not going to, you ever seen someone, when something happened, you hear that person, they're the loudest person. They so tough, but they're the loudest person. They just rah, rah, rah. They need everybody to hear them. And it's not that they need everybody to hear them. It's just that what they learned is bark loud enough. And then it'll make people, intruder alert. It'll make them stop and say, okay, do I really want that? And because if they do it loud enough, they know somebody's going to break it up. Maybe the police come and break it up. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that kept them safe for a moment before the intruder or whoever comes, So think of it that way. And leadership begins when you pause, notice the trigger, and respond instead of react. As we just said, the healed version of you, that's the leader, that's you in purpose, your leader, the leadership in you. That is when you're going to understand, okay, I need to pause. You're responding now. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. Responding is you pause, notice the trigger, notice what's bothering you or coming for you. You notice that, right? And once you identify that, then you respond instead of reacting, meaning that you can either disconnect and walk away, or you can find out what the problem is, have a conversation, whatever it is, but you're not going to react, meaning match energy. We're not, matter of fact, that's a term that needs to be thrown away. It is so amazing to me how the enemy will throw a term out there and we catch it because it sounds good in the moment. But when you really break it down, it's horrible. So let's talk about match energy. You got hell in you. You got the demon in you. You got the spirit of Satan himself riding on your coattail, on your shoulders, telling you, hey, do this. And here it is. You're coming to attack me. And then I want to match your energy. Why would I open my gate? That's the thing that the enemy wants. He'll say match energy. That means you're opening the gateway for me to enter into you. Do you understand? Now you're running around here trying to figure out why you mad all the time, why you irritated, nothing's going right for you, because you gave the enemy access into your life. When you give the enemy access to your life, all it takes is a word. He throw them out there so much. He just throw things out there and we grasp it and we say, yeah, I match energy. Okay. And then look what else we say. Oh, you take the high road. I ain't taking the high road. I'm taking it low. I'm going to hell with it. The enemy like, yes, say less. This is what I've been needing you at anyway. Do you understand? It's our tongue. It's what we say. It's inviting him in. The enemy can't come in unless you invite him in. And what do the enemy do? He knows your triggers. And he go get someone to pull on those triggers. Now, I know you can't do this, but the moment that you start to heal and step into your leadership, it's impossible for the enemy to get access to you. You can sit right next to the enemy. Listen, I can have chaos going on all around me, but it's not going to change who I am. Because I know once I react, I give the enemy access into my life. No. I'd rather you feel that you punked me than me losing who I am. Just so I can, shut you down. I'm not doing that. What I found is the best way to beat someone is don't. Listen, the best way to beat someone is to continue in purpose. The best way to beat someone is to mind your business. Because when you're minding your business, you don't even know you're being attacked, right? You don't even know that someone is coming after you. You minding your business, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Listen, the way the enemy will tap dance on their mind and do the running man in their head and do all these different things to them to frustrate them. What they sent to rage bait you and now rage baiting them. Whatever it is, now they're obsessed and they're stalking and they're doing these different things and they're in their head and they can't cope because that energy has to go to somewhere. They done conjured up this energy to come up against you. They done got with the enemy himself to come up against you. So it has to go somewhere. But if you can't receive it, it goes back to sender. Think about it. I send you a package. You're not there. You don't live at that address anymore because that's what it is. When you heal, the enemy will send packages your way, but it's not the address anymore. That person you're looking for no longer lives here. I am not her. I am not him. I am not her, right? So it has to go back to sender. And so that's how you deal with people. You don't. You focus on what God tells you to do. Now, this is another thing. You don't break habits by force. You change them through what? Awareness, compassion, and consistency. That is how you break habits. So each time you choose a healthier response, you're teaching your nervous system a new normal. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with this for that is hold tight to the self-leadership. Hold tight to self-leadership is choosing healing even when the habit feels familiar. Okay? Choose healing. Let's jump into number 2. Integrity, discipline, and self-command. Let's break that down. Integrity, discipline, and self-command are the foundations of emotional leadership. not control, but self-trust. That's the foundation of it. Let's look at integrity. Doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. That's integrity. Doing what's right when no one's even watching. So discipline. Choosing what supports your healing, not just what feels good in the moment. Right? So back to even with relationships. You date for the moment, for the season. It just feels good, but that's not what I want. Then stick to what you said. Your boundaries. Your standards. We talked about standards and values yesterday. Stick to your standards. Be disciplined in the things that you want. Be disciplined in it. Don't change your standards and who you are for the feel-good moment. Because in that moment can change your life. It can recreate and change the destiny of what you were supposed to do. Don't let 1 second ruin your life. One thought process ruin your life. Stay disciplined in what it is. Have the integrity and stay disciplined. Now, self-command. The ability to pause, regulate, and guide yourself instead of being led by emotions. What do I mean by emotions? I always say this. Never react off emotion. This is why a lot of people feel that women would not be a great president, because they say we act off emotions. Well, we're all human. Men act off emotions too. Okay? So that's not a true statement that women can't lead because of emotions. We all have emotions. Men act off emotions when they get upset. You make me mad. Oh yeah, go push the red button. I'm going to show you who got the bigger balls, right? That's how that goes. However, never make a decision out of emotions. That's something that I learned while I was in the military as a leader, is that I have to go check myself. No matter how mad I am and no matter what happened, I have to go check myself. Because what I'm about to say next can cost me my rank, can cost me my career. And the same way with you, it can cost you a whole lot. Having self-awareness, understanding self-regulation, how to self-regulate. How am I going to self-regulate? I created the RPI. The RPI is to acknowledge, release, practice, inner explore, and empower, right? And I check and balance off of that. If you guys want that quick reference card, it's a free quick reference card that I have on my website. You can go download it. It's under my shop. The link, it's in my bio. So go check that out. And I check and balance myself off of that, right? So I acknowledge what just happened. I'm going to release whatever emotion that automatically picked up, because that emotion that automatic, that's immediate automatic, that means that's that learned behavior. So I immediately release that, right? And then I'm about to practice. Either I'm going to practice, the self-care or the acknowledgement or whatever it is that I need to practice. Okay, taking deep breaths as I teach you guys how to inhale for, hold for, exhale for, right? Or whatever it is that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to inner explore. Hey, inner explore meaning I'm going to self-reflect, right? I need to self-reflect on what's going on. And then I'm going to empower myself with feeding myself compassion, being compassionate with myself, showing myself compassion. Okay, these aren't about being harsh with yourself. The integrity, discipline, and self-command, those are the foundation, as we talk about, of the emotional leadership. These aren't about being harsh with yourself. They're about creating safety, consistency, and trust within. That's what that's about. So I want you to keep in mind, when you keep promises to yourself, your nervous system learns it can trust you. When you keep the promises to yourself. Okay? Listen, the whole point of this program that I created is to teach you how to step away from everything else, the world and everybody else that's in it, and step solely into who you are. I want you to be so absorbed with yourself. See, it's two different things, because a lot of y'all be so self-absorbed that it's me and everything. You become self-centered and selfish. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I want you to be self-absorbed, meaning that the same compassion that you would give a friend, I want you to give it to yourself. The same way that you would love on a friend and give them kind words, I want you to do that for yourself. The same way you would tell your friend, you need to rest, do that for yourself. I want you to pour into yourself the same way you will pour into someone else. Because you need it. The world need it. You know why? Because you're a leader that have not stepped into purpose. And you, just think about this. God called you to do a thing and you haven't done it yet. But I need you. I can't elevate until you do it. Do you understand? Do you see, if I would have never stepped into purpose and got into the field that I was supposed to be doing and working the way that I'm working, then you that's here on this live, you would not be able to hear this. Maybe this resonate with you, but you wouldn't have been able to hear it. You eventually, but what if it's 10 years from now, you finally meet me and I tell you that, but I just wasted 10 years of your life that I could have helped you become the best version of you, and you could have got to where you need to go. That's how important we are to each other. That's why it's so important for me to build a tribe. I don't want a community. I'm sick of everybody. It's like everybody get on the trend of, I got a community, got a community, got a community. But let's look at what a community is. A community. Think about your community. Your neighborhood. Let's look at your neighborhood. How many people in your neighborhood you talk to? How many people in your neighborhood that you help out? Take their trash. You ain't seen their car move in a while and you, hey, you all right? You notice that they ain't been checking their mail. Let me check on them. Or you got their phone number that you can call and check in on them. Are you comfortable enough to say, hey, I got this extra food. I know you got a lot of kids. Do you want some? How many? A community is just a place where people gather and they have something in common, but it does not mean that they're there to help. A tribe is, think about a tribe. A tribe is family. A tribe is, listen, they're linked in like this. You hurt one, you damaged the whole so that's why they stick together, because if you come in and break this link, then this link will unravel. They're not going to have that. They're going to stick together. They're going to fight for what's theirs. Matter of fact, if you're not, if this does not link, I need to find out why. And then we're all going to go fix this pinky, because we need it to link. Because without this pinky, we cannot be solid. A tribe is a family. So that's why I say I don't build communities. I build tribes. So the Trinity of Fitness tribe on my group me, that's what it's, my group me, Chat with Coach Nye, is where I put homework out. And it's a place where people can communicate if they want to communicate. They can reach out to me if they need to reach out to me. We can give words of encouragement. You can even go in there and put some words of encouragement. It's not just a one-person thing. Okay? So let's jump into 3. Trinity of Fitness Leadership. Welcome to Trinity of Fitness Bootcamp. I'm your instructor, Coach Nye. But listen, let me explain to you what this means. The Trinity of Fitness Leadership, that is your spiritual, mental, and your physical. The 3. You can't heal one without the other. The Trinity of Fitness Leadership, mental, spiritual, and physical, means leading yourself from alignment instead of fragmentation. Now let's look at that. Let's look at alignment. Alignment means a position of agreement or alliance. Or it means in a straight line or appropriate position, like relative position, whatever kind of position it is, alignment, right? And then fragmentation is the process or state of breaking or being broken into small or separate parts. So, it means leading from alignment instead of your broken place. Leading from your purpose instead of your passion. Leading from healed instead of unhealed. The world broke you, but I'm going to teach you how to self-heal. So let's look at the mental. The mental is your thoughts, beliefs, and inner dialogue. What are you thinking about? Throughout the day, I need you to start the RPI. Acknowledge, release, practice, inner explore, and empower. I want you to look at that. So your mental, acknowledge what you're thinking throughout the day. Acknowledge it. I want you to apply the RPI to the mental, physical, and the spiritual. What are you thinking about through the day? What are ways that you can release that? And what ways can you replace the negative with the positive? That's the practice. Practicing. Every time you catch yourself doing that, practice doing this. And then inner explore, self-reflect. Where did you get that from? Where did that negative thought, where was it birthed from? Right? And then I need you to empower yourself. Give yourself compassion. Meaning that, dang, I learned this from someone that was broken, taught me this. As a child, these were our values and moral. You have to remember, we were raised from parents and grandparents that taught us from survival mode. They raised us from survival mode. They didn't have the things that we have now, the therapy that they have. They don't have that. They didn't do any of that. They didn't, it is no other way but this way. Because their pastor did it, their grandma did it, this is how it's been done all these years, so this is the truth. It's the truth. It becomes the truth. So they raised us from survival mode. So instead of getting mad, just allow them to be who they are. Okay, you really don't know any better. And you're at the age now that you ain't trying to know any better, right? So give them that grace and let them be. However, it does not mean that you have to have them in your space. There's a difference. You have to have boundaries. Like, okay, that's who you are and that's fine. That's what you believe, that's fine. I'm not going to go against your belief. That's what you believe, fine. But I don't believe that, so I'm not going to allow you to spill that over here, and it becomes a respect thing. Okay? Now, your physical. Your nervous system and sensations and physical responses. That's all your physical, your nervous system. How your nervous system responds. The sensations, what it feel like. The physical responses. What do you do? Those are things that, are you operating from a broken place, or are you operating from a place of alignment or fragmentation? Which one are you operating from? That's where you have to identify, apply the RPI to that. Acknowledge what it is. Release the fragment part, the broken part. Practice by replacing it with healed pieces, aligned pieces, right? And then explore, self-reflect. Where did I get that from? The reason why I need you to self-reflect, because you have to get to the root. You can't just go out and pick a weed and not pull it from the root. Because if you don't heal it from the root, then another situation is going to cause you to react the same type of way. Okay? And then you have spiritual. Your values, intuition, and sense of purpose. That is your spiritual. What are your values? Are they your values or the values that you were born with, you grew with, that were taught to you, learned values? What your sense of purpose? Is it your purpose or the purpose that they told you were going to be doing? Like they tell you, it's something special about you, girl. It's something special about you. God got something for you. And then they'll tell you, oh, you're going to be a pastor. But you never went to God and asked God yourself. You just got on the pulpit, and every time you get on the pulpit or every time you preach, you just don't feel it. Because maybe you're not supposed to be in the church doing it. Maybe you're supposed to be out missionary, going out. So ask God, so whose purpose are you in? When one is ignored, the other struggles. So if you're not healing yourself, when you go through your healing journey, it is the spiritual, mental, and the physical. You need to heal all three of them. Okay? A lot of people start with physical, as I talk about. I'm a personal trainer. So that's why I started. I started my healing process with physical fitness. Then I became a personal trainer. And I was, good at it. I'm the behind the scenes type person. I'm not the type that's going to be in a camera. I don't like the camera. I did physical fitness modeling. I did all those things. But trust me, I was the worst model there was. Not because the pictures didn't come out right. It's because I don't have time for all this. Listen, one photo shoot took it was like 3-4 hours. That was stupid to me. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to quit my day job. Because I'm not the type of person that's just sitting in front of the camera. No, hit it. I need you to be fast paced like I am. Hit, I'm changing. Hit, I'm changing. But no, we have to wait. We have to look around. We have to see. That's not who I was. I like to be behind the scenes. I just didn't know God was bringing me out. So I'm there for the job, but I'm not there for the, let's make this my career. No. It was just too much. It's a lot that goes into it. But I enjoyed it when I did it. And it was a blessing. It was a blessing. So I'm grateful for it. But God then began to tell me what I'm about to do next was to start speaking. That was the scariest thing to me, turning on my camera, because I didn't have social media. So when it was time for me, God said, okay, start the business. So I relaunched my business. And I came on social media in 2023, late 2023, like October or August or something like that. And I was doing my physical fitness, which I'm comfortable with because that's what I do. However, he said, now speak. meaning small little things. It was chat with Coach Nye. That's what I called it. And it was small little things I would say, just encouraging words of encouragement. Make sure you drink your water. Make sure and that was still hard for me. Like I couldn't give eye contact to the camera. Like I just that wasn't me. And then one day God said, pray. Now hold on, God, you asking me to do too much now. Hold on, hold your horses, hold your angels, Wait a minute. You want me to get on here and pray? I did it. And baby, I was worried. I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. What is people going to say? What is this? What is that? I know now why I felt that way. But then I didn't know. I was like, oh no, 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 no. And so I ended up taking it down like a day later. So I just couldn't. Right? But what was happening is I was acknowledging something that I was worried about what people was going to say. So I was worried about being seen and talking because of what people were going to say, because no one known me to be a talker. I wasn't a talker. When God opened up my voice, it was the funniest thing and the scariest thing at the same time, because the people that knew me, it's like, what she talking? And the people that met me is like, oh, she talk a lot. So it's just that it's like I had been held up for so long with so much to say, right? And it just all started coming, and I just wouldn't stop talking. I'm becoming comfortable with talking, because from the root of it, I was always taught that like I was the stupid one of the family. I don't know how that was. Yeah, that's how I was looked at. Yes, and that was the craziest thing to me. Boy, they was some haters. But yeah, they would, like, I wasn't the smart one. And that's because I didn't indulge in conversations. The reason I didn't indulge in conversations is because they were always talking nonsense. And so even as a child, I knew that I don't want to indulge in that mess. It was mess. And so because I didn't talk, I guess they thought, I don't know what they thought. I'm trying to figure out how am I'm the successful one out the family, but yet you telling everybody I'm stupid. Come on now. So that's what I grew up with, right? You telling everybody, oh, I used to get good grades, but I don't care what you used to get. That does not make you smarter than I, but because I didn't carry myself like everybody else did, it's just that I was like a mystery. Like, what is she on? Even as a child, I was always solo. And trust me, baby, I did some dirt. I was always in trouble. And I don't care to tell people, my life story. My testimony is so important. I didn't graduate. I was always in something. Baby, I was always in something. And I was always in something. And then I joined the military because I'm like, I don't want to be just nothing. Let me fix my life. Jesus fixed my life. And that's what happened, right? And I was able to go to college, and I was able to do things. I was able to blah, 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 to who I am today. And so that's why I tell my testimony, because it's someone out there that was in my shoes at one point. It does not make you, it's not going to, what you've been through is not going to mess up your destiny. I was always destined to be here. I took and made bad choices, but I'm here. Do you understand? So you can do the same. So back to the topic. So the main point that I was trying to say is that it was phases that I had to go through to get to where I am today, to be able to speak, to be able to stand in front of to be able to pick up a mic, to be able to stand on a stage, to be able to talk to people. I had to go through things, and what God was breaking is me away from worrying about what people have to say or what they're going to say about me. Now I don't care, because what can you say about me, And that's why I need you guys to know that. So when all three are aligned, decisions feel clearer, emotions regulate faster, and actions become intentional. Now, true self-leadership isn't about pushing harder. It's about listening deeper. Remember, alignment creates clarity. Clarity creates leadership. So for the exercise that you're going to do for today, this is your homework. I want you to I want you to identify any area needing leadership. Identify any area that's needing leadership. And then I want you to body grounded position, grounded posture exercises. Those are the type of exercises that I want you to practice tonight when it comes to body. And your soul, I want you to ask, what does leadership look like for me? What does leadership look like for me? That's what I want you to ask, right? And I want you to meditate on that. I want you to journal that, and I want you to meditate on it. Journal. What does leadership look like for me? And then I want you to meditate. Now, I'm going to give you your daily declaration, and I want you to repeat. I lead myself with wisdom and grace. I lead myself with wisdom and grace. Thank you so much for the likes, Sky. And then your tabletop talk. Now, for the ones that don't know, tabletop talk is about you're healed and healing. When I teach you how to heal, I want you to be able to go to that same environment that you were in and be able to speak to them and teach them. Your tabletop talk. Leadership begins with self-regulation. Ask them, what does that mean to you? Or how did leadership, self-regulating, help in your leadership position? Remember, leadership does not mean that you have to be a supervisor or a manager. Leadership does not mean that you have to be in charge of something specific. It's when you step into your purpose, now you're in leadership. Being in purpose, you're being a leader, okay? Because you want to influence people to do better. So if you're trying to help others heal, you are a leader. Own it. You're a leader. Lead them. Now, you lead your life by leading your mind. You lead your life by leading your mind. Remember, I always say close the gate. The gate has to be closed so the enemy will slip right in. The enemy slips in through your mind. All that nonsense, close your gate. Heal this, everything else follows, right? So, you lead your life by leading your mind. So, ask at the table, what things that you had to change mentally for you to feel more confident? Because they may not see themselves as a leader because they don't understand what a leader is. Confidence. So ask them, for you, what changed mentally for you to feel confident? Okay? So that right there is the end of day 23.